What's up, guys? We are back with another Marvel Legends review, another Sugar Man Wave figure, and we're taking a look at the winner for the most ridiculous packaging setup I think that I've seen in a very long time for Legends. We've got the Age of Apocalypse version of Jean Grey with the craziness going on with the Sugar Man bath parts shoved in there, and she is sort of crammed in there, almost like an afterthought, but they made it work. So we've got her here in our standard Legends packaging, figure sort of in the window, mostly showing off those Build-A-Figure parts, some fantastic artwork down the spine, and then you've got a product shot and a lineup and a little tiny bio on the back. So let's do it. Let's pull her out and take a look. And here she is out of the package, our Age of Apocalypse Jean Grey. This figure is, I'm not going to say it's one that I've really wanted for a long time, but I'm really happy to get this figure in hand. I love Age of Apocalypse. I love a number of the more out there Marvel timelines and alternate realities, and I dig that kind of stuff. I like that, you know, world apart kind of thing from the mainline universe, so it's cool to get something familiar while also being very unique. And this is a very unique look for Jean Grey. She looks very different from just about any other counterpart, so I'm really happy that we got this one. Because honestly, it's a pretty solid figure and it looks great. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. So let's see what she can do, see how she moves around. This is, of course, a female Marvel Legend, so you know right from the start that she is inherently less articulated than the boys. So we've got a head that can look up pretty far. She can look down. My neck hinge is really tight, but she can still look down really far. And then you've got a little tilt side to side and rotation. We've got arms that go all the way out, a little bit higher than 90 degrees at the shoulder. She does have full rotation, but at the same time, it's kind of like wonky because she's got the shoulder pads that stick out the sides. You've got your single jointed rotating elbows, hinges and rotation at the wrist. We've got a diaphragm cut that exposes the peg on the inside if you look too closely. She goes backwards, forwards only a little bit, but backwards is really nice. Tilt side to side and then rotation. Nothing at the waist. Legs go out about yay far. They kick forward. They kick backwards just slightly. You've got your thigh cut, double jointed knees, and then you've got your rocker. You've got hinges down there at those ankles. So she moves well enough. I mean, I'm never going to say I don't want more, but at this point she is about as articulated as expected when it comes to Legends. Undoubtedly, my main draw for this figure was the look, and just this particular version of Jean, this style, this outfit, the hair, the face painting on this figure. Very much satisfied with just about everything going on here. There is a little bit to be desired when it comes to the paint on the body of this figure, but we'll talk about that. So we do have a pretty standard looking figure for the most part. She's got a pretty normal build from, say, the midriff down. Where she's really different is, of course, the top. So you've got kind of like, you know, the bustier top almost going on here, which has kind of like a bright red for the color, but it's a little bit dull on the waist for some reason. I'm not really sure why the paint doesn't line up there. That's definitely an issue for me. We've got the shoulder pads, and this is actually a separate piece, so it sits on top of the body. And then you've got the jacketed sort of arms, which looks really good. I mean, the colors, as far as the navy blue on these pieces, the arms, and the paint work down on the legs and the midriff, it works really good. I think it's all very matching and very clean. I do really like this design for her, so I'm already kind of biased in terms of just liking the overall look. But there is a little bit of splotchiness when it comes to the paint, especially from the midriff down. So the reds are like the big problem child paint color, I suppose. So you've got the midriff with the reds, the blue that starts on her butt and goes down to her thighs. Really nice, very vibrant, looks good. But then you've got more of that red down here on her legs, and this is kind of splotchy. Same with the feet. It's almost like it's too thin, like there should have been another coat applied, or it should have just been applied, I don't know, maybe better. She does have two kind of spellcasting splayed finger hands as far as the way she can sort of display her powers. Of course, she doesn't come with any accessories, so she has no effect pieces or anything like that, no extra hands. So she's always going to be in a pose, you know, maybe something like this to utilize her powers and use the TK ability, things like that, or have her put her hand to her head, something like that. So I like the idea that we do have these hands. I'd been very disappointed if she didn't have those, but I kind of wish she did have at least a couple others, or, you know, God forbid, a effect piece, because that's what I truly want. Though ultimately at the end of the day, my biggest, I guess, desire for this figure was for it to have a really clean and crisp paint job on the face, because, I mean, well, she's got a little bit extra when it comes to that. And I can thankfully say that they did a really solid job here. I'm very happy with the way the paint and the colors in particular turned out for this figure. I will say that we are still kind of living in that world where female eyes always tend to be a little bit too wide set. They don't necessarily look as bad as usual on this figure, but at certain angles it looks a little worse. So you might have to deal with that. It doesn't bother me too much, but at the same time it is kind of there. So you've got a really fantastic head sculpt. I'm really digging the overall design here, and just the symmetry of the face works really nice. That bright candy color red for the lipstick works well. The green eyes kind of pop against the white in there, and then the black, and you've got the red eyebrows, of course. But it's the blue face paint on the side that I really dig. It's very clean and crisp. There is no kind of blotchiness or no thinning of the paint, no fuzzy lines either. That was one thing I was really worried about, because we do see that every now and again with Legends, but thankfully it did not crop up here, so that works really good. I mean, it's a big defining characteristic of her, so I'm glad they got it right. And then the hair, of course, is very different for Jean, and I like this as well. Got a lot of kind of oomph to it when it comes to the windswept look, so it gives her a little bit more of dynamic look and feel, and then it's a nice color. It's just a kind of dark, not bright, but dark red, and a little bit of highlights on there. So she looks really good. Again, this is the one thing that I was hoping that they would get right, and I can safely say that they pretty much nailed the head on this one. And even though it's probably not necessary, here's a quick look at our AOA Jean with our more 90s style Jim Lee Jean. And I mean, there's really nothing to compare about. There is no similarity here between their designs really in any aspect except for the eyes and the hair color. Really, everything else is entirely different. The unaware folks out there might not even realize that these were the same person had you not been already informed. So there's just an idea of what they look like next to each other. Not much to compare to, just two different versions of the same character. So at the end of the day, as far as this figure in general goes, I am pretty happy with her. That said, there are definitely a few shortcomings in terms of what you get as far as what's for her specifically, because she doesn't come with anything, and I really wish that they would beef up some of these figures when it comes to accessories. I would love for her to have an energy effect. I would love for her to have just anything that you could use to display her powers. That said, I do know that she comes with a humongous brick of plastic for Sugar Man, and that undoubtedly factored into this. She does look really good, though, at a base level for the figure itself. There are a few paint QC issues here and there, but the overall design is there, and she looks exactly like she should, and I really think they nailed the head sculpt, which again was my big worry, is that there was going to be something weird with that paint, and I can safely say that they did a really good job with that. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends Age of Apocalypse Jean Grey. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.